insensitive. I said, yada, 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 change your life. She goes, yak, 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 boo-hoo-hoo, slammed the door, sleep on the couch. Anyway, does this say, I'm sorry to you?
Friends, they weren't carrying flares, a radio or life jackets when their boat capsized. In the water for 17 hours, he watched his friends die.
Me and my mate, we were just drifting, and then he died. He just grabbed his chest and just keeled over. And just an hour and a half or something after that, that's when I got picked up. If I had a radio, we definitely all would have lived.
Kwik, Coast Guard, Kwik, Coast Guard.
The lifeboat service is now pressing for new laws to force people to carry safety equipment and undergo safety training to bring Britain into line with most other European countries. And the rescue services are exasperated by the number of people needlessly risking their lives.
The sea is a harsh and unforgiving environment, and people will die in the sea very quickly if they do not have the right safety equipment.
I had one yesterday. There's 5 adults and a child and an 8-foot rubber dinghy. No flares, no life jackets, nothing. I mean, we're talking something here not much bigger than a bathtub.
This well-drilled crew regularly practices life-saving. Even with the right equipment, survival time in the water can often be measured in minutes. Still, some believe changing the law is impractical. The licensing of boats and proof of seamanship would, they say, be impossible to enforce. The British value their freedom to mess about on the water, but that freedom brings responsibilities. With just a few simple safety precautions, common sense and the right equipment, the sea would claim fewer lives. Glenn O'Glaser, News at 10, off the west coast of Scotland.
Back on land, the Carling Premiership kicks off tomorrow with one player still not sure who he'll be playing for this season. Andrei Kanchelskis, a Manchester United player last season, turned up at Everton today despite being told that any transfer was off. Ben McCarthy reports.
Manchester United training this morning for the start of the new season. But without Andrei Kanchelskis, who is still technically a United player. In July, the 26-year-old Ukrainian appeared to have left Manchester for good when he signed for Everton in a deal worth £5 million. But Kanchelskis' old Ukrainian club said it was entitled to a percentage of that transfer fee. So United decided that the deal was off. Now Andrei isn't playing for anyone. He was talking tactics with Everton this morning, but he knows it's the boardroom, not the dressing room, where his fate will be decided.
I haven't trained today. I need training, and I just hope that the good people at Manchester United and Everton will do me the good service of sorting out my problem as quickly as possible.
After months of soccer sleaze, the FA could now step in to settle the dispute to avoid yet another own goal for English football, even before the first kick of the new season.
Tonight's headline again, United Nations peacekeepers have begun pulling out of Gorazde, the last UN safe haven in eastern Bosnia. The British contingent there will leave next month. Finally tonight, everything is in place for the start of a weekend of commemorations to mark the end of the Second World War in the Far East, VJ Day. It'll be an emotional time for the hundreds of veterans arriving in London from across the country. Tom Bradby has been talking to some of them tonight.
Tonight at Buckingham Palace, the Grenadier Guards were practicing for tomorrow. The commemorations this weekend, this a rehearsal of the flypast, are designed to remember not only VJ Day, but also the final end of the war 50 years ago. It is likely to be a more sombre occasion than the VE Day commemorations, because many veterans of the Far East suffered terribly in Japanese prisoner of war camps. John Sharp weighed just 4 stone when he was freed. He says tomorrow will bring back painful memories.
When you hear that last poster in the valley, you know, it just goes through your mind. And certain names, you know, they're Big Dobson, Little Dougie Mowbray, and all the names go through your mind. And you can see their faces as they were when they were young, you know.
The weekend is also designed to remember the contribution made by other Commonwealth countries. Many have travelled a long way to be here.
I thought that this was a very good thing because it will give us the opportunity to realize that there's someone who really cares, who's really showing that they appreciate the contribution made by members of the Commonwealth.
The spirit of forgiveness and reconciliation that was present in some aspects of the VE Day celebrations is likely to be largely absent this weekend. But it will be a remarkable occasion. For many of the veterans, this could be the last major commemoration where they will be able to march alongside their comrades. Tom Bradby, News at 10, in central London.
And there'll be coverage of the VJ commemorations on ITN throughout the weekend. That's the news from the News at 10 team. Good night.
Hello, good evening. Well, to sum up this coming weekend, it's very much a case of misty, murky nights, followed by mostly hot and sunny days. Unfortunately, there's no sign of any real rain in sight. Of course, there are always exceptions, and we see those tonight in the form of a couple of showery outbreaks up there in the very far northwest. And do watch out for some mist patches floating around. Otherwise, it's a dry night in the offing and a fairly sticky, uncomfortable one too. Temperatures held at around about 15 in some places, or 59 in Fahrenheit. So as we go into our Saturday morning, we do so on a very similar note to today. It's a case of mist and low cloud plaguing some central as well as eastern areas, otherwise dry and bright out to the west, with a couple of showers there in the very far northwest. Now, it won't be too long at all before the sun gets to work on all that cloud and mist and chases it way back to the North Sea coastal fringes. Of course, that's where it came from in the first place. At the same time, we've always got the chance of a couple of showers showing up in the very far northwest and possibly Northern Ireland. As far as those temperatures go tomorrow, hot is the key word, very hot inland, with a high of around about 32, or a highly uncomfortable 90 in Fahrenheit terms. Much cooler in coastal areas there, low 20s or low 70s in Fahrenheit, with a bit of a welcome sea breeze as well. Now, a very quick look at Sunday's weather, much of a muchness. There we've got that mist retreating to the coastal strip, a couple of showers in the far northwest. They fade away during the course of the day, and on the whole, Sunday settles into a hot and sunny one. That's all from me for today. Good night.
Sponsored by Powergen, producing electricity, whatever the weather.
Later this month, GMTV's Eamon Holmes will present ITV's National Television Awards. And next week, only on GMTV, it's your last chance to vote for your television favourites. And Jocelyn Brown and CJ Lewis on the Spanish Roadshow with Anthea Turner next week.
Bodyform Invisible. Ultra thin. Ultra reliable. Less is most definitely more.
Things couldn't be worse, Biffo. Only one parachute.
Afraid they could, Algy. There's only one Callard Bowser toffee.
Dash!
Let the king this up. Heads.
Heads it is. So it's the luscious, creamy Callard Bowser for you, and the dreary old silk for me.
Double-headed coin. Dashed handy.
Come on, checkbook. We're going to France for the weekend.
I'll stay here. Hold the fort.
Move it, Lofty.
See you Sunday. The Hyundai Accent. Side impact bars. 3 years unlimited mileage warranty. Front and rear crumple zones. Really very strong crumple zones.
I'm a single woman who loves Kellogg's Frosties. It had been a long day at the office. but I knew what I wanted. Me, a grown woman still running around like a schoolgirl. What I didn't know was that I was in for a very big... Caught red-handed.
Adults never grow out of the great taste of Kellogg's Frosties. They're great!
Britain's favourite brands, Britain's favourite prices. Quick save.
Men, is grey hair sneaking up on you right under your nose?
It is sneaking up on me. Here, too.
You need Just for Men gel for moustaches and sideburns. Brush in and in 5 minutes, rinse. Grey's gone. Your moustache and sideburns blend with your natural hair colour. Just for Men gel, a sure thing for a natural look.
Do you like a choice of freshness from your fabric softener?
Yes, but now I get it from Bold. If I want a blue softener, I choose Bold Spring Fresh. And if I want a yellow one, I choose Bold Summer Meadow Fresh. He likes Blue Bold. She likes the yellow one. And the blue one.
Bold Spring Fresh and Summer Meadow Fresh. Now the choice is yours.
To tell you about IKEA, the home furnishing store from Sweden, we were going to get a top international celebrity. Anyway, the big cheese said, how much? We could get 20 Keith Chegwins for that. So, there you go.
Well, hey, if you're looking for inspiration for your home, then look no further than IKEA. Sofas, they've got stacks. Lamps, loads of them. Beds, billions. Kitchens and lots more. Come down to IKEA. It's a great place. Oi, will you stop that? Opens Thursday.
A new series of Heartbeat, coming soon on Yorkshire.
Now in Yorkshire, the regional news from Calendar, presented this evening by Nick Powell.
Hello, good evening. A second mountaineer from our region has been killed in the Himalayas. Paul Nunn from Sheffield died in an avalanche on Mount Haramosh 2 in Pakistan. Aged 52, he was one of Britain's most respected climbers, a veteran of many assaults on the world's toughest peaks. The avalanche struck while he was on his descent. The rope holding him was cut by snow and ice. The Vice President of the British Mountaineering Council, Doug Scott, said there was no better or safer climber. Paul Nunn's death follows yesterday's reports that the body of Alison Hargreaves from Derbyshire had been spotted on K2. The search for her has been called off for the night, but will resume tomorrow.
Alison Hargreaves conquered the Himalayan mountain K2 at the weekend, but it's believed she was caught in an avalanche as she made her descent from the summit. She's one of a party of 7 climbers who are missing, presumed dead. A Pakistani army helicopter was due to search the mountain today, but was grounded due to bad weather conditions. This afternoon, Alison's husband and 2 children posed for photographs, and despite the tragedy, put on a brave face.
The mountain, if K2 wants to give us the bodies back of Alison and her companion, it will do so. If it doesn't, there is nothing any man on earth, from the President of the United States downwards, can do about it.
The fearless climber from Derbyshire, seen here on K2 2 weeks ago, was the first woman to conquer Everest alone, and was again climbing without Sherpas or oxygen.
If there is no news, provided there's been in, by the end of Sunday, then that is the time when I start to close the book.
Another rescue attempt will be made tomorrow, but it's feared that her body may never be recovered.
Lawyers are predicting a flood of compensation claims over cancer deaths against the Castleford Chemicals firm Hickson & Welsh. It follows an inquest on a former production manager whose wife has issued a High Court writ. He worked with a chemical which a government report said was a possible cause of cancer.
For Pauline Virgo, today's High Court writ is the latest stage in a battle which began when her husband Jerry died of bladder cancer last October. Jerry retired from Hickson & Welsh 10 years ago after a 31-year career as an industrial chemist. He worked in a plant which produced the chemical Mocha, used to manufacture roller skate wheels. Mocha's known to have links with cancer, and employees were regularly screened. But Pauline says the company's failure to screen her husband after his retirement led to his early death. She says she has no choice but to sue the company.
It's not only what it's done to my life, it's what it's done
to my daughter's lives, to Jerry's son's lives, to our friends, to everyone who knew Jerry.
Solicitors preparing today's writ say 5 people from the plant have died from the disease, and that's more than coincidence. It's understood there could be up to 30 other similar compensation claims.
The outcome of the inquest has greatly encouraged other claimants, and today we've been contacted by a number of trade union solicitors with whom we will be contacting and exchanging information and looking at coordination of claims.
The company says workers didn't handle the chemical directly, but it has now extended its screening programme to include pensioners and former employees. Pauline Virgo's only comfort is that her husband's death may pave the way for others to take similar action.
Police are tonight investigating what could be Hull's 4th drug-related death in the last month. 20-year-old Stephen Mohammed was found slumped in his flat on the city's Orchard Park estate this afternoon.
Stephen Mohammed was found dead in his high-rise flat at lunchtime. Although the exact cause isn't known, friends say he was a drug user.
He was always out with head, you know what I mean? Walking on the street and shouting all the time. That was it.
It comes just 4 days after the death in another block on the same estate of 16-year-old Patrina Harris from a suspected drug overdose.
It's bad one, dear. Really bad. Heroin, it is.
You can get it quite easily?
I don't know, because I don't eat into it like that. Don't touch drugs.
Because it's just so easy to get hold of around here. They're just selling it to little bairns and it's ridiculous. Now I worry about my nieces and nephews and it's not going to get any better, is it?
A post-mortem's being carried out to determine exactly how today's victim died.
A North Nottinghamshire man who's serving 12 years in a Spanish jail for a rape he says he didn't commit could soon be freed. Russell Torr's family have spent almost 2 years fighting to clear his name. But within days they may know whether he's to get a pardon from the King of Spain. Torr, who's from Carlton in Lindrick, near Worksop, has always denied raping an English girl while on holiday in Mallorca. If he's pardoned, the family will have to decide whether to call for a retrial to clear his name. More from us at 1:05 tomorrow, but that's the calendar news tonight. Good night.
The first action, the first news, all the scorers, all the details. Scoreline Saturdays at 5:05 here on Yorkshire.
Hello again, good evening. Well, the weather's got itself set in somewhat of a pattern now. We have plenty of hot sunshine by day, but with an easterly breeze bringing in some water vapour from the North Sea. As temperatures drop away overnight, that water vapour condenses into low cloud, mist and fog, and the sun needs to clear that away first thing in the morning before the sun puts in another appearance. But it's been a lovely day across our region today, highs of 27, 28 degrees Celsius. It's looking good for the weekend as well.